There's something very problematic about giving people the advice of just go with the flow or just ride that wave. Because what this implies is that you're going to gravitate towards the easy route or towards instant gratification, like we just talked about in the last video. And the easy route tends to have some sort of negative consequence attached. So when people say just go with the flow, I'm not so sure if this is a great piece of advice. Now, you do want to go with the flow, but you need to find your flow state. You need to find the flow. Even like in the Tao Te Ching, what Lao Tzu talks about is the way. The Tao is the way. And he felt as though the Zhou dynasty was becoming corrupt and acting way too much on temptation and power hungry and greed. A lot of these things that I talk about, he felt this way. So what did he do? He followed his way, his Tao, and said, I'm going to travel west. I don't want to be here anymore. And this is something that we need to understand in the 21st century is there's a lot of things that we don't have a lot of control over. And for that reason, it's really hard for us to just find that flow state or go with the flow because naturally our flow is going to be doing something destructive. In a world full of stress, it's easier to be upset and angry. In a world full of fast food wherever you go and, distractions everywhere, it's easier to give in to distraction. It's easier to pull into that fast food joint. Let me ask you something. If you're on your way home from work and you have a gym that's on the way to your house and you pass by the gym and a couple blocks ahead is your house with your TV and your food and your couch and your comfort and maybe some people that make you happy. Tell me which scenario you're going to choose. Are you going to pull into the gym or are you going to continue to drive home? If you were to go with the flow, like people say, just go with the flow, you're probably going to just drive straight home and you're going to avoid that physical exercise. This is why just go with the flow is problematic because in the 21st century, we're already forced to go against the flow. It is not natural for us to wake up and go and do something we don't want to do for 8 hours every single day. That's against the flow. So we find ourselves in a different scenario where the flow is a negative flow if you go based off of the unnatural flow that is created for us. And this is why I talk about certain things like putting yourself in a positive environment. Lao Tzu was not in a positive environment. He couldn't find the way. He couldn't find the Tao without leaving westward. This is what I'm talking about. Think about what he did. He traveled, he was exercising. He had time to clear his mind. Like all of these things that I talk about. And this is how you find the actual flow. To find the actual flow, you have to go against the current first. And then you will be on the right flow. You do want to ride the wave, but you want to ride the correct wave. You don't want to be riding the wave that's been created for us because this wave is, You're stressed out from work. Go to the bar. Go do whatever you need to do to alleviate that feeling. That's the natural flow of 21st century life. So, for that reason, you actually want to go against the current first, and then you will find the correct flow. The correct flow is taking care of your physical and mental health at all costs. The right flow is putting yourself in a positive environment. The right flow is connecting and being selfless and loving and finding the right people. The natural flow, if you follow what society would create for your flow, it would be repress everything and deal with just the external. That's not the flow that you want to be riding. That's not the wave that you want to be on. You want to find that inner peace, that inner clarity, that that flow where you have some belief and faith in something. All of those 7 pillars that I talk about in nearly every one of my videos, that's the flow. I mean, think about when I talk about meditation and mindfulness. What could be more going against the current than having natural thoughts arise and being able to pull yourself back to the present moment? Or having thoughts arise and being able to create your own positive thinking instead? That's going completely against the current, but it's necessary to find that correct flow. Another thing I wanted to mention is once you get used to going against the current and you find that correct flow, that flow will become natural to where you don't want to skip exercise. You don't want to disrupt your mind. You don't want to put yourself in a negative environment. This all becomes natural because you've done it for so long, and that's where you want to be. And once you're doing the right things in life, this is when you can't feel bad about an off day. A lot of times when we have an off day, we judge ourselves and we feel bad about the day because we're like, oh, maybe there's something I could have done differently. But it's like if you're already doing positive things, you're not going to have that thought as much. And one final point that I want to make to wrap this video up, if there's any validity behind rebirth or the cycle of samsara that Hinduism talks about, which, if I'm being real with you, so far is the religion that I resonate with the most, I think that if you always just do whatever you want, there's a strong chance that you're going to have to relive this life. Now, none of us know this for certain, but why would you be able to just do whatever you want and get away with it? We've already talked about in the last video how that doesn't seem to be the reality. You can't eat something tasty and not get a stomachache. You can't overeat and not gain weight. You can't skip the gym and get fit. For whatever reason, God or the universe wants us to go through that struggle, go against the current to find that right flow, to find that correct wave. And this video is to help you get on the correct wave. And I hope that this helped. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the channel and the content. Thank you for watching the Alone Wolf channel.